Should you work with a buyer's agent in New York City? We'll demystify this topic in the following video. I'm Nick at Hauseit. Visit our website, hauseit.com, to learn how to save money if you are looking to buy or sell or rent here in New York City, Long Island, the Hudson Valley, as well as Miami and South Florida. So let's get started. So, should you work with a buyer's agent in New York City? Let's take a step back and understand why buyer's agents even exist in the first place. Well, the answer is that currently, buyer's agents exist because of the prevailing commission structure here in New York City. The custom is that sellers pay all of the typical 5 or 6% commission, including, of course, the split on that, which goes to the buyer's agent. So, in other words, buyer's agents exist because sellers pay for buyer's agents, and therefore a typical purchaser does not have to pay any money out of pocket to have the benefit of working with the buyer's agent throughout the process. And furthermore, while many buyers may suspect that potentially the seller saves money on commission if there's no buyer's agent, most of the time that's actually not the case. Your typical exclusive right to sell listing agreement in New York City stipulates a fixed commission rate of, say, 6%, which is payable upon closing regardless of whether the buyer has an agent or not. So if the buyer is unrepresented, well, the listing agent just has a very fantastic payday and collects the entire 6%. So to recap, why are there buyer's agents to begin with? Why are you even thinking about hiring a buyer's agent? Because the commission, customs, and mechanics in the city essentially allow them to exist. So, should you work with a buyer's agent? What does a buyer's agent actually do? You can find all the listings on the internet. So, what's the point? Even if it's free, what's the point of having somebody hanging out with you during your home buying process? Well, one of the main things that a buyer's agent can do is not necessarily send you listing ideas, but to help kind of point you in the right direction based on the way your search is progressing. For example, if you start your search by saying, I want to spend, $600K and I want to buy a 1-bedroom, maybe you're looking in Manhattan and maybe you're not happy with the inventory that you're seeing, but you haven't yet made that sort of mental leap to think, wait a minute, perhaps there's another neighborhood in Brooklyn. Maybe there's a neighborhood in Brooklyn that feels very much like Manhattan in terms of what things I value, where I might very well love to buy something there. But you haven't yet made that mental leap. A seasoned buyer's agent knows the city like the back of his hand, will know right away to sort of hint and suggest, for you to consider other neighborhoods that you might not be currently looking at, other property types, and just generally giving you ideas, maybe a little bit quicker than how long it would take you to figure out on your own. And certainly, if you're looking to buy before your lease expires, or you really just want to secure a property, get some inflation protection and so forth, having somebody basically give you a tip and point you in the right direction with respect to your search can save you a boatload of time. Your buyer's agent can also provide useful advice and guidance throughout the process, namely walking you through, of course, every step of the process, making sure you're prepared in advance of the arrival of each subsequent stage of the home buying journey. It's a very competitive market. I mean, you have buyers out there, and they're like sharks. They've done it before, perhaps. They're investor buyers. People know really what they're doing. And so, if you're totally unprepared, you don't know what's going on, and you're learning things in the moment and potentially too late, you will at some point get outmaneuvered by another buyer. So having a seasoned buyer's agent can give you information in advance, make sure you're prepared. And ultimately, this means that, your odds of maybe losing out on your dream home to a more prepared buyer are going to be a bit lower by way of having an agent versus going out and buying on your own. Your buyer's agent can also help you coordinate showings. Now, I know that sounds like something you could very much do on your own, and you absolutely can. But at the end of the day, you may want to see a large number of properties. Your buyer's agent, for free, without any cost to you, can literally build a showing schedule for you for an entire day. So think about all the logistics that can be solved by this person basically acting as your concierge. So there's definitely a benefit there. And in addition, let's say, you send them one listing idea that you want to see, a good buyer's agent will take that listing idea, think a little bit about it and what it means in the context of your home search, and maybe suggest to you 4 or 5 other properties that are similar, that are in the area, and add those to the showing that you originally wanted to schedule for. So instead of just going out to see one apartment, now you're potentially fully utilizing your time, seeing many different other ideas, which ultimately will give you more insight, more information, and lead you much closer to the point where you find something that you may want to buy. The other advantage of having your buyer's agent help you with the showings and scheduling the showings is that you won't get harassed by listing agents. Listing agents will constantly ask you the same question. Are you represented? Do you have a pre-approval? Can I work with you on your home search? Do you really want to get solicited by every single listing agent of every single property when all you want to do is just see a home? So your buyer's agent can basically act as a barrier to help eliminate sort of this noise and this wasteful interaction from your home purchase process altogether. Now, your buyer's agent can also help obtain answers to questions and specific questions about various buildings and listings that you're considering. So if you want to see like the financials for a building, if you want to see the sublet policy or PEP policy for a specific co-op, or if you have, let's say, a sort of an analytical conceptual question about, the risk of an assessment for building A versus building B, your buyer's agent can provide you with both the insight that you require and obviously work to obtain the requisite documentation that you might be looking for. So it'll really just make your life a lot easier having somebody on your side tracking down documents, getting answers, and providing you with insight throughout the process. Your buyer's agent will also obviously negotiate on your behalf. So your agent will help you put together an initial offer, submit that, and go back and forth in terms of the subsequent rounds of negotiating. And throughout that process, provide an ear towards strategic thoughts on how we approach it, what are the comps looking like, what's going on in the mind of the seller, getting intel from the listing agent, connecting with her or him. So all of those things will potentially point you down a better path and hopefully result in you ending up in a better place when it comes to the ultimate negotiation on the home that you end up buying. Your buyer's agent can also assist with the board package in the case you are buying a condo or a co-op. Now, both condos and co-ops do have a pretty extensive application that you must submit. You have to gather together several financial documents, tax returns, bank statements, reference letters in most cases, as well as various disclosure forms and things that you have to sign. So it's a lot of work. It's kind of like a really glorified, annoying book report that you would have done in high school, perhaps, or a project. And so, your agent will basically do it for you. All you have to do is provide them with, of course, the documentation and items that are required. Your agent will review it, put it together, make sure it's thorough, organize it, and put a cover letter, make sure it's delivered, and follow up with the management. So it really provides a huge lift, particularly if you're like the typical New Yorker, super busy with working 24/7, don't really have time to just do a book report. So your buyer's agent can definitely help make your life a bit easier if you're buying a condo or a co-op. Another benefit or reason to work with a buyer's agent is that your agent can connect you with the relevant third parties that you actually need in order to successfully close your home purchase. For example, you will need a real estate attorney in New York City to buy a home. You may also need a home inspector if you're buying a townhouse or a single or multifamily property, or if you're buying an apartment with a penthouse, outdoor space, or something on the ground floor. We can also, as a buyer's agent, provide you with introductions to lenders and mortgage brokers as well, so that you can shop around for the best rate. So in other words, your buyer's agent can leverage their experience and their track record of doing deals and closing deals to connect you with the various third parties who have made it very efficient and easy to close those deals in the past. In other words, people who are proven, people who know what they're doing with fair pricing and good interpersonal skills and such. So those introductions are really valuable as part of this process of buying your home here in New York City. So we hope you found this video to be helpful. Perhaps we convinced you that you should work with a buyer's agent. Perhaps we did not convince you, but in either case, we appreciate you watching. And if you are looking to buy here in New York City, and if you are looking for a buyer's agent, check out our website, Hauseit.com. We can help you save up to 2% or more on your home purchase through our Hauseit Buyer Closing Credit Service. It really is a no-brainer to reduce your closing costs, so please do connect with us. Send us an email if you'd like as well, team@hauseit.com, or give us a call, 888-494-8258. I'm Nick at Hauseit, and we'll see you on the next video.